Hi there, this is Janice with Marketing with JR. And I've been asked over the years, how did I end up with Marketing with JR? I spent 30 years in IT with stints of marketing. And you ask, well, how did those go together? Well, a couple of different things. The first two companies I ever worked for, I was a consultant. So I did work for other companies on behalf of my company. And when you're between assignments, you do marketing. So you learn how to go talk to people, to talk about problems, how do you solve those situations, how do you do that better. Then the next couple of years, I worked for specific corporations and just worked in their IT department. Then I went to my dream company, which has its own story, and it was a consultant again. And so in between gigs, I was doing marketing or doing sales. And then I moved to a small little company you might know called IBM. I spent 15 years there doing consulting and marketing. And then I spent a lot of time doing marketing because I was working on new services, new projects. So you had to do the marketing that went along with that to explain what business problem you were solving, that kind of thing. So that's the overall of some of the business experience I had. But in between there, in 2001, I was divorced with two small children. My son was 10 and my daughter was 5. So my daughter was starting kindergarten, my son was going into 6th grade. Because I worked at IBM, I was well paid, and so I learned that money solves a lot of problems, so it wasn't a big deal for me. I didn't know that, I should say, oh, help me, because I'm a single mother. Those words never came out of my mouth. I didn't even consider it because I had the means to solve those problems. And again, this is going to become important as we talk through some of the marketing things that I teach you as we go along through these videos. Couple things then too you should know is my son was born 6 days before I finished my MBA. I think I got an A in the class because I showed up for the final versus that I actually knew the material, but I'm sure I knew the material. But it was one of those things that everybody's like, why are you here? But he was going on sabbatical and I was going to have to wait 2 more semesters for him to come back and be able to take my final, and I just wanted to be done. So I finished my MBA, right when my son was born. So I do have the educational, instructional background for marketing as well. Another thing related to my son, the world spins around him. Don't tell him, he'll get a big head. One of the biggest trade shows, conferences I went to in my adult early life was in California, and the reason I feel that's relevant for you guys to know is I still have a jacket. It was a lab coat from that event that I just really wanted, and it was before I worked for that company, so that's why I said, that has its own story. So those things I think are important for you to know for background. And as we work through these videos and stuff, some of this stuff will come up, and then you can relate back to what we talked about here, and I can tell or expand on some of those stories. I hope that gives you some insight to who Janice is, and we can talk more in the next videos. We'll be talking about trade shows, what to do before, during, and after. We'll be talking about trade shows. Is this expo right for me? We'll be talking about tips to do common sense marketing, because some of you know Marketing with JR's tagline is common sense marketing with extraordinary results. So we'll share some of those things too. See you in the next video.